of Module 1 in regards to community building and awakening to opportunity in Lesson 2. So again, here are just the goals that I'm reiterating here for you for the entire module. So Section 1, we're going to talk about personal branding and your personal brand story. So why do you need to develop a personal brand, and why is this so important in community building? So creating a personal brand story is how you set yourself apart from everyone else in your industry. So, like I said, there are tons of other coaches out there, leadership coaches, women empowerment coaches, activation coaches, but it's their stories, our stories, that set ourselves apart from everyone else, and it's our experiences that we have and the knowledge that we use from those experiences that help set us apart from everyone else in the industry. Your personal brand story also helps you develop alignment in your business, okay? It helps you stay true to who you are. Remember that authentic integrity that we were talking about in Lesson 1? It connects you with your readers in a deeper, more meaningful way. It also establishes your authority, which means your readers start trusting you, which ultimately means that later on they're going to want to work with you or purchase one of your products. And lastly, it creates authentic marketing approaches so we don't feel like we're being salesy or rude or over the top and promotional, okay? Brand stories are easy and they're authentic, and it's a way of marketing. So how can you start creating your personal brand story? Well, it's really easy because your personal brand story is basically how you got to be where you are today. So 1 is, where have you been? That's the struggle, right? 2, where are you now? That's your present moment. 3, how did you get from point A, the struggle, to point B? And 4 is just emphasizing that result or transformation. So think about, where you were a year ago and where you're at now. Think about the transformation you have experienced and the result of that transformation or experience. So for example, for me, like a year and a half ago, I was struggling with, defining who I was as a person. All my friends were graduating college. I was still completing my undergrad degree while I was living abroad in Thailand. And I knew that I never wanted to work a full-time 9-to-5 job again. I loved traveling and I loved connecting online. And I knew that there was some way that I could do both these things and make money from it. So where I'm at now is I am a full-time online entrepreneur and a leadership coach who works one-on-one and in settings like this to help transform other aspiring creatives. And how I got from point A to point B is through a lot, right? Like I had to dig through a lot of bullshit, but mostly it was working through my internal crap and getting aligned with who I was and who my highest self is. So the result or transformation is that I went from a struggling young female adult to an empowered leadership women's coach who gets to do what she loves, who gets to support her family, who gets to teach and serve her online community in such a powerful way. So that is pretty much my story in a nutshell, and that's basically what you need to do is just develop your brand story by writing out, thinking about, the past year or two, where you were struggling and why you're not struggling anymore and how you got from point A to point B. Now, as you create your brand story, I really want you to dive deep into that personal transformation. What shit got you to where you are today? Developing your brand story is going to require the willingness for you to share your personal stories and obstacles, and it just requires you to be a little vulnerable. And this, again, it's going to help you connect with your community who are most likely dealing with the same issues that you were dealing with a year ago. It is your job to solve your readers' problems, to help them, to serve them, to impact them. And connecting with them through your story makes even greater of an impact. It's like saying, yeah, girl, I've been there, I got your back, right? You're just showing up to be there for them, right? People are going to be more willing to follow you and convert from a reader, like this fangirl, to a paid customer or client if they can trust you and can connect with you on a deeper level. not just a superficial level like, oh yeah, I love this girl because she's got some great Instagram posts. You want to move your community members, make them feel something, and make them realize what's out there that they might not know is, and how it can serve them and help them transform. Show them that they don't have to struggle, that they don't have to go through the same crap we did, right? That there is an easier way out, and that's what you are there for. I really liked this quote. Developing your brand story requires the willingness to share your personal stories, obstacles, and become more vulnerable. So, how do you develop your messaging? So, your messaging is really important because it's how you're going to speak out to these readers and make them feel something, right? Once you've created your brand story, what you have to offer your readers, we can start crafting the story itself and turn it into effective messaging that's going to reach your community members. So you should already have an idea of who your specific, targeted audience members are through those avatars you created, okay? So you're going to keep brand words and copy, and I want you to think about keywords that really make your readers feel something. It should capture their attention and make them go, shit, yeah, that makes so much sense. Where has this been all my life? It also helps for search engine optimization purposes, especially if you have a blog, to implement brand words and keywords so your readers can easily find you when they're searching for stuff on Google. So if you know who your ideal reader is, right? You developed your ideal reader avatar, you should be able to act like them, right? Get on Google and search the same things they would probably be searching for, okay? So I'm going to have you develop like a word bank of brand words and keywords that helps you develop messaging and stuff that you can share in the form of content for social media posts, blog posts, podcasts, blogs, wherever you create content. This is where you want to put your brand copies in, right? So for me, like an example of like developing messaging through brand words is, life of significance, embrace your inner leader, your divine leader. Terms like that really speak to my reader, and more than likely you have been a reader of mine because obviously you've trusted in me, right? And those words have spoke out to you. So think about your audience and the words and keyword phrases that really make them feel something, that make them want to take action and eventually, purchase from you or work with you through your coaching program or whatever it is that you do. So you're probably thinking, okay, so I wrote this brand story, got these, words, this bank of copy, brand copy. What do I do now? So in terms of your story, obviously, if you have like a website, you want to put it on your website. Because for me personally, when I visit a new person's site that I'm obsessed with, I want to read about them. Like, how did they get to where they wanted to be or where they're at now? So put that on your website. If you have a blog, if you have an Instagram or Facebook, wherever you create messaging, share your story with people. Share little bits and pieces. Of course, you don't have to share the whole thing, but just take them on the journey of your story so that you can start reflecting that story onto your ideal readers and it keeps attracting them. So now I'm going to walk you through your inspired action exercise for lesson 2. So you should already have the work done in lesson 1. So again, mostly questions that are going to help you create your brand story. How would you describe your brand? What do you want people to say about you? What are your deeply held values? Okay, questions like that. Then you're going to put it all together and create your story, okay? Develop it. Give me a play-by-play or give yourself a play-by-play of like 2 years ago to where you're at now or 6 months ago. Whatever that transformation looks like, it's different for all of us. Show me that story or show yourself that story. And then brand identity. So this is where you want to, use this space to create brand words, keyword phrases, and just words that resonate with your audience. So like I said, for me, that's embrace your divine inner goddess. empowerment, just create like a list of words that you can come to. So when you're struggling or you're trying to create messaging for Instagram or your Facebook group, you can come to this and say, I'm kind of struggling with this, or I need some ideas on what to talk about. Then you can look at this and I'd be like, oh, okay, I want to write a post about women empowerment. And then I'm gonna walk you through creating your brand strategy. So there's several questions here that are gonna help you create your brand strategy. And that is it for Module 1, Community Building. Now, like I said, for this entire program, I wanna make sure that the work you put in for each module you feel good about before you move on to the next module. So make sure that the work you're doing within lesson 1 and lesson 2 makes sense, it feels good with you, you feel aligned, and then move on to module 2. So if you feel good about it, then I will see you in module 2.